It was a quiet October morning in Seattle. The sky was still painted in shades of silver and blue, and the first light of dawn had just begun to spill over the city. The hum of engines at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport usually started early, planes lining up, people rushing through terminals, coffee cups clinking in tired hands. But that morning, something was different. Inside the control room of Alaska Airlines headquarters, a soft alarm blinked red. One of the engineers frowned, tapping a few keys. A system that normally displayed hundreds of live flight paths now showed nothing. The lines that connected the world, gone. At first, no one panicked. Sometimes systems glitched for a few seconds. They'd reboot, run diagnostics, maybe grab another cup of coffee. But this time, the screens stayed blank. Within minutes, messages started flashing across departments. Dispatch disconnected. Flight data not syncing. Server timeout. Please contact IT. It was still early, and only a handful of flights had taken off. Most of the others were on the ground, ready to board. The pilots waited for flight clearance. Passengers scrolled through their phones, checking weather, sending last-minute texts. And then, over the loudspeaker, came a message no one wanted to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, due to a nationwide technical issue affecting Alaska Airlines systems, all flights have been temporarily grounded. We'll share updates as soon as we can. A hush fell over the terminal. A little girl looked up at her mother, clutching a stuffed bear. "Mom, what does grounded mean?" Her mother smiled weakly. "It means we have to wait a little bit longer, sweetie." Meanwhile, in the operations center, the realization hit. It wasn't just Seattle. It wasn't just a glitch. Every Alaska Airlines flight in the country was frozen. From Los Angeles to Anchorage, from Portland to Boston, a massive network failure had shut everything down. Flight tracking, check-in systems, scheduling, crew coordination, every heartbeat of the airline silenced. The silence wasn't just technical, it was emotional. Imagine hundreds of pilots, flight attendants, engineers, all suddenly disconnected from the system that guided their every move. It was as if someone had turned off the stars in the sky. In Anchorage, Captain Robert Hale sat in the cockpit of Flight 1287, ready to take off for Seattle. He'd flown for 30 years. He'd seen snowstorms, mechanical issues, even emergency landings. But this was new. He watched the control tower through the windshield. No green light, no clearance. He turned to his first officer and smiled faintly. "Guess the sky's closed today." They both chuckled, that calm, quiet laugh of professionals who've learned to accept what they can't control. Outside, the snow was beginning to fall. Tiny flakes danced across the tarmac. Passengers pressed their faces to the window, watching planes sit still like sleeping giants. Hours passed. Across the country, frustration began to grow. People missed weddings, job interviews, family reunions. An old man in Portland sighed and whispered, "My grandson's turning 5 today." A young woman in San Francisco typed a message she knew wouldn't send in time. "I'm trying to come home." And yet, in that chaos, something unexpected began to happen. Strangers talked. A flight attendant shared snacks with a group of tired travelers. A pilot told stories about the early days of Alaska Airlines, when the company started with just one plane and a dream to connect the remote corners of the North. He spoke softly, almost like a bedtime storyteller. Back then, flying was about trust. You trusted the sky, the machine, and the people beside you. Sometimes things broke. Sometimes you had to wait. But you always believed that the sky would open again. People listened. They smiled. They nodded. For a moment, the airport didn't feel like a place of delays. It felt like a place of shared humanity. By noon, the IT teams were deep into crisis mode. Hundreds of engineers worked together, tracing the problem, a failure in a critical communication link that managed flight operations nationwide. They called vendors, checked backups, rebooted systems. One of them whispered, "It's like untangling a spider web in the dark." But they didn't give up. They worked hour after hour, fueled by coffee and determination, trying to bring their airline, their people, back to life. And finally, after what felt like forever, one by one, the screens flickered back on. Flight paths reappeared. Data streamed in. The heartbeat of the airline returned. Someone in the control room whispered, "We're back." The room erupted in quiet cheers. No one shouted. They were too tired for that. But the relief in their eyes said it all. Later that evening, as the sun set over the Pacific, the first Alaska Airlines flights lifted off again. From above, the world glowed softly. City lights below, a calm night sky above. The captain of Flight 405 looked out at the horizon and smiled. "We're flying again," he said over the intercom. "Thank you for waiting with us. Thank you for believing." The passengers clapped quietly. Some smiled, some cried. It wasn't just another flight. It was a reminder that even in a world run by machines and systems, it's the human spirit that keeps everything moving. In Seattle, as the last light of day faded, the little girl with the stuffed bear finally boarded her plane. She looked out the window, saw the runway lights glowing like stars, and whispered, "Mom, the sky's awake again." Her mother smiled. "Yes, sweetie, the sky's awake again." The engines roared softly. The plane lifted off, graceful, steady, free. And so that night, the sky of America breathed again. Flights moved across the stars like glowing threads, reconnecting people and stories that had been paused. And maybe, just maybe, in that vast expanse, the sky itself whispered, "Even when I go dark, I always return to light." Every pause, every delay, every silence, even the ones that frustrate us, carries a quiet lesson that patience can be power, that even the strongest systems can fall, but people always find a way to rise again. So tonight, as you close your eyes, remember, the sky may stop for a while, but it never stops forever.